All right, we're back here. Second match of the night here, week 6, Friday night feature matches. And we have Adam S. here playing against Ryan M. So unfortunately, we did have some technical issues. Ryan wasn't able to get a stream, but Evan is going to be joining me here. I believe he's recovered from his earlier feature match here. He is going to at least have Ryan's pool pulled up, so we might have an idea of what he's working with. But for now, we unfortunately don't have eyes on him. But we do have eyes on Adam's deck, and it looks like a pretty good start for him.
Yeah, it does. And I actually played Ryan last week, so I have a good idea of what he's on. Even though you've only seen Ezram
Yeah,
and that Surveil land, he's actually mostly a green-white base, splashing for the powerful card Ezram. But of course, powerful cards are only so powerful as long as you play them. And so he wisely surveilled it into the yard,
okay. I
given
yeah
his tight mana situation, I'm sure.
I played against a mostly Simic version of a deck that he was running last week, and it was utterly frustrating. I think he countered or bounced like basically everything that I cast or played. So, but I know listening to him on the podcast, he did mention he has a couple of different decks. So he changes it. He changes it up like an astute league player should. But he's got Bristly Bill here, which is a pretty scary start for Adam. He does have the Lasso by the Law if he chooses to use it, but now he's facing down two premium cards here, both of which can make creatures exceptionally large. And yeah, Ryan actually at the beginning of the week he was 17-8, so in a good spot to push to get in the top 8. But he did take two losses already to start the week, so this is actually an elimination match for him. So he has to win to even stay alive in this tournament. Adam at 15-9 is a little bit behind the pack as far as games played and wins, so he just needs to play a bunch of matches and win most of them. So which threat would you be looking at wiping out here?
Hmm. I think probably the Bristly Bill. Um, just because it's already larger as is. Of course, lands are going to be essential development, and if he wants to really explode the growth of Tumblewag, he's going to have to tap something else down. Meanwhile, Bristly Bill will kind of just be able to do that for all the creatures once they hit 5 mana.
Yep, he's come to the same conclusion. He says, "Get this bill out of here. I'm going to attack. I can't afford to try and block this. I need to get my opponent dead." So we see an Annie Flash that will be castable in a couple turns, as well as a Redstein, which, thanks to the Outcaster Greenblade, will likely be castable too. So Adam's well on his way to playing out his hand here. But looks like Ryan's doing. He's just doing the standard green OTJ strategy: play big things and good rares.
Just a constant flood of beef on the board, and he's going to ask Adam, "Can you keep up with this?"
And Adam is he's gonna try. He's trying to Reef Soul here, so that's a rule for the Tumblewag. So let's see what he does with the Outcaster Greenblade, assuming he's gonna get an untapped black source, I suppose, of whatever variety that comes in. Getting a quick look at his deck before the match, Adam is running a green-white base, but as you can see, you know, there are 4 colors of cards in his deck. Which is kind of just the norm, I think, in this. I think I've seen a lot of people just running 2 color base with, multiple splashes of different colors up to 4 or 5. But really, you should be base 2 colors so that you can cast most of your spells. Looks like he is.
Mm-hmm. So he's debating here, should I get a source that might be a little bit more powerful, might grow my green blade a little more, or do I remove this tumblewag right here, right now,
I
before
think
it
you
gets
need.
out of control?
I think you need to get this rare off the board.
I agree,
Yeah,
but it did have some due consideration needed for it, and that's what makes Adam a great player. He takes the time to really think through those decisions.
absolutely. I mean, I would have probably just grabbed the swamp right away, never thought twice about it. But there was worthy of consideration there. I'm just saying, let me get these threats. Let me deal with these threats. What's next? Okay. Grizzly is. That's an interesting card because that's a card I thought I would have cut a long time ago. But I know at least for my deck, just having the ability to get trample for and towards the end game, like drawing that late in the game when opponent has maybe stabilized or has a bunch of blockers, can actually be really helpful. So it looked like a card that was going to be cut early on, but it's had staying power to week 6 at least for me.
Agreed. I mean, I just lost a match earlier today to full steam ahead, which gave trample to the entire team. And so having that, on a stick or on a creature is definitely something that, you can't undervalue that effect, really.
Yeah, it's not great in the early game because it just trades like with most two drops, but I like it for the late game, just having that extra power to get some damage in when it looked like I otherwise might not be able to. And yeah,
Hmm.
playing the value game here, he's gonna recast his Green Blade, and if he gets an untapped green source, he can just play his Llanowar Visionary straight up here. But I think he's gonna go for a bit of value here with the Ranch.
I don't
Oh,
believe that he
he played his
could
land
play it
already.
because,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
So Ranch is great. Like this is a card that just actually I've seen win many games. It's come in clutch for me. It's come in clutched against me. The games do get drawn out sometimes, especially if people have the answers to those bombs. And getting a second counter on this Grizzly is pretty huge here.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage that he's threatening Adam with.
Yeah, so Adam does have this Annie Flash in hand, which can get back something from the graveyard. It's like a Grave Titan type of deal, or not Grave Titan, Sun Titan. Sorry, Sun Titan
Yeah.
type of situation here.
I do wish, however, that he had played that forest instead.
Yeah, it means he can't actually cast both of his creatures because
Yeah.
his red source is tied up in also being a green source. So a little awkward there, but I think he'll manage. He's just going to probably play out the anti flash. It gets him back a green blade. Okay.
Hmm. There was another line as well of blocking with the Rutstein. Do you think that was what
He was
do
thinking about
you
it.
think of that
He was
line
thinking
there?
about it, and then just getting it back with the anti flash, and then gets
Hmm.
back the green blade as well. So I believe he
Yeah.
thought about it, but he also said my opponent's at 12. I want to be able to attack.
Yeah.
And
And keep that board present.
yeah, obviously we don't know exactly how deep Ryan's splashes are, but he does have five colors worth of mana here. So, but we've just really seen green cards and that Ezram that ominously got surveilled to the graveyard early on, probably giving Adam a sigh of relief here. But probably wise because he's on 6 mana, and if it was in his hand, he would not be able to cast it.
Hmm.
All right, so here
And
comes
yeah,
the
it looks
Grizzly.
like it's more of the green blue build that you were talking about.
Okay, yeah, I just
Uh,
know he played like saw it coming, repulse. Just it was very frustrating. I'll say that much.
oh man,
For my honest,
that is a card.
it was very frustrating for my honest green white deck to fight through all of his cheap interactive spells. But
There's a lot of decks out here that have been annoying for your honest green white deck, from what I've been seeing running around.
yeah, I mean, there was a deck I played against yesterday that just had way too many rares for me to handle. So we got a Grizzly of our own here for Adam. He also has Annie Flash and the Hollow Marauder. He did lose his discount here, so he will have to pay full price for these creatures.
Hmm.
But without an answer to Roxanne, I guess he could use Annie Flash as the answer to Roxanne.
Yeah, and you could even get the Rutstein back right now. Oh no, but it doesn't work out because the Marauder will increase in price even as it decreases in price due
Yeah,
to
it'll
the
stay
stacking
4
ability of
mana.
Rutstein.
I
Yeah.
think it's better to flash this in, right? To surprise block the Roxanne. I feel like that has to be the move for me.
Hmm.
Oh, he's doing. Okay, so he is casting the anti-flash here.
Yeah.
And he is getting back the Rutstein, but that will not help him cast the Hollow Marauder. Okay. Interesting he's doing it main
If he uses
phase.
the Rut Steam to get airings back, this makes sense because it means that, or even the Green Blades.
Yeah, there's two creatures that came out of the graveyard now, so. Alright, so he's just gonna load up here. He said, "Let me put another body on here. I can't afford to just flash an Annie and that be my only play for the turn."
Mhm.
But I believe he could have played the Grizzly and still flashed in Annie. He said, "Let me put as much power as I can reasonably here and toughness, especially if
Yeah,
things
because
end
the
up getting
Grizzly does
trample."
just die.
Yeah, but I mean, the trample could be on the table here. Again, we don't know exactly what's in Ryan's hand. As you see a land there, not great for him. And he says he's just going to be passing through attacks here. So Adam is probably going to have a pretty scary attack next turn if Ryan's not able to make headway on this board here because he's going to have trample here. Okay, so he's just so
Ooh.
he's just using the Annie ability here for whenever it becomes tapped. You basically get to play the top two cards of your library if you can. So he's choosing between whether he wants a Hollow Marauder or a Pacifism variant here, trapped in the tower.
I haven't played much with Annie Flash. You can't do both?
I believe you can. I just does he? Oh, he does have the mana to do it, right? Okay.
Yes, yes, he does.
No,
And
you,
hasn't
you can play both.
made his land drop yet
You can play both.
either.
I,
Either
I
by
have
tapping down
I have not played with
Visionary
it.
or with the untapped land.
I've not played much with it either, but I do know that you could play both here. Yeah, trapped in the tower. I mean, it's not. I mean, I think all of these new designs with the O-ring effects are probably a bit better, but it does what it does. It stops the creature from attacking and blocking, uh, except you can't put it on a flyer. Yeah, Ryan's
Yeah.
just gonna be on the no blocks here and try and see what he can stir up next turn to stay alive because he's gonna need something good.
Hmm.
All right. And it was another land in hand. So he just flooded out tremendously here. I mean, turns out Adam had about the same amount of lands, but it's because he was using cards to go and get them. So very good showing here for Adam, avoiding any avoiding those early game bombs by having the removal in a timely manner. Avoiding the Ezram by it ending up in the graveyard, avoiding Tumblelag and Bill by getting them off the board with minimal damage, and that's what you got to do, right? When you see those crazy cards, you have to find a way to get rid of them.
Hmm. And in the end, just going over the top with, he had plenty of cards left in hand, and next turn he would probably still be able to use all his mana, whether it was with Marauder, take up the shield, or Bucolic Ranch
I
activations,
mean,
right? So even if Ryan had drawn a little bit better, still things were looking favorable, I think you could
yeah.
say, towards
Not to
Adam.
mention, five of the
And
six creatures that Adam had in play were at least 2-for-1s. Like the Llanowar Visionary drew a card, Rutstein gets back something, Hollow Marauder is card advantage, Greenblade gets you a card, and Annie Flash gets you many cards worth of value. So the Grizzly is the only one not providing card advantage there. So it's just like, even if Ryan finds chains removals, it's like all these cards already got their value. So
I think we could
tough
give
run out here.
credit to the Grizzly a little bit. It tapped Annie Flash. He wouldn't have gotten those extra two cards
Yeah, there you go. The Grizzly.
without the
Look,
Grizzly.
look. I was singing the Grizzlies' praises before. I was talking about how much I really think the Grizzly is a pretty important card still late in this format. And Adam agrees. He's running three of them. So, but he does have a bit of the mount synergy here with the Ranch, the Miriam, and a few other cards.
Yeah. great with Seraphic Steed, right?
Yeah.
Curving that Seraphic Steed into a 4 power and then just getting that
Oh yeah. Whenever
Angel on turn three
the
is
few the
crazy.
few times it's happened to me in draft, I'm just like, yeah, I could concede. Like even if I killed the Seraphic Steed, they got an Angel. It's just such a strong combo there. So let's see what game two holds here for Adam, who is again trying to eliminate Ryan here, who started the week 17-8, but as I mentioned, took a couple of losses and now absolutely has to win this game. A bit of a slow hand, you could say here for Adam, but very explosive potential with this Railway Brawler and this Feasting Troll King. Not a card I've seen in a while, I'll say.
Hmm. And wonderful draw, the Fortune. It's going to be able to fix exactly to be able to cast all these big powerful cards. But there's some powerful early rares that we're seeing
Would you say this is classic
as well.
OTJ only rares in play?
Yeah, trend's not going to be stopping.
Yeah,
It
there you go.
seems.
So I think he does want his lands here.
I would agree. I think every single land. Possibly there's reason to drop the planes if we're worried more about getting that feasting troll king castable.
I mean, he does actually have all of his green sources if he wants them. He has the Gulch and he has, I believe it's Prismatic Vista in hand, so he can get all of his green in line.
Hmm.
Outmuscle, yeah. So Outmuscle is another Eldraine card. Looks like he got a couple of nice cards from this Eldraine pack. I don't know if you opened more than one pack of Throne of Eldraine, but we already saw the white removal, and we see these green cards in hand. Outmuscle, yeah. So 4 mana, creature gets +1/+1 counter and fights, and if you paid 3 green mana, it's indestructible, I believe. But
Hmm.
this is kind of what Ryan was doing against my green deck. Just play my thing, bounce it. Play my thing, remove it. Leave open mana, counter. We'll see. He's trying to keep him
Hmm.
off kilter here. Of note, Ryan did not have a fourth land to play, even
Hmm.
even with
And
the
also,
card
he
draw
ended up
and the loot.
discarding.
Yeah. So what did he discard?
He discarded Ezram again.
Okay. Well,
That guy can't seem to stay in hand.
I think he's that's a partial admittance of just it not being realistic to be cast this game, which, based on what I'm seeing, is agreeable, I would say.
Hmm.
If I can get a couple lands here, it's going to be a real big problem for Adam because Bristly Bill activations might begin to be online.
Yeah,
But surprising, he couldn't find a
and
land with a draw from Repulse and a loot as well from the Duelist.
yeah,
Attacking a 2/2 into a 2/4. Okay, so we can expect he's got some kind of pump here.
possibly. I mean, this is also the sort of place where it is somewhat of an incredible bluff if people can pull it off.
The card from this set that would come to mind here would be like a clear shot. He can clear shot the Duelist of the Mind against the Fortune, I guess, but he could have just done that anyway.
Hmm.
So I'm not sure. It could just be just a regular old pump spell of some kind. I mean, Adam's gonna say, "I want to see what it is."
Yeah, I mean, even if it is a pump, I think you would kind of prefer that they use that here and that you lose the creature,
It's
perhaps.
likely to eat up the majority of their turn doing it too. So
Yeah.
Adam says, "I'm intrigued. Show me." And I tend to agree. I usually in these spots I say, "Well, show me what you have. It's going to cost you mana." Okay, that's one you don't see every day. The luxurious libation. So plus X, and you get a 1/1
Hmm.
for X and a green. So nice, little 2-for-1 there. Not something you could basically ever play around. I mean, even if Adam had his opponent's whole pool open and was scouting everything there, I mean, I guess he could land on that, but you know, hard to play around something like that. And he's just going to drop this Railway Brawler and say, "I see you don't have mana. Deal with it," because he may He may have a 14 power creature coming into play next turn.
Yep. With the brawler in hand, though, there might have been cause to, and knowing that your opponent
Okay.
is low on lands, there might have been cause to have let the attack go through, and then to kind of fortune and bring it back and make it what would that be, a 4/6
Yeah,
on attacks,
could do that.
like after attacks.
Another good card we see going to the graveyard there for Ryan. I assume he's just wanting his lands. It's the I forget the name, but it's the 2/1 flyer from Mom that turns into a
Hmm.
Phyrexian that draws you a card when it flips.
Turns into a 2/4.
Yeah, it's
Is that the style line after this?
Skyclave Aerialist, I believe, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
All right, so Adam's saying I believe there may be a counter here, so I'm just gonna not play my Troll King here into counterspell. I'm gonna play two creatures instead, or play a creature
Yeah.
and outmuscle. All right, well that's a big kitty cat,
Hmm.
and this is gonna be an even bigger grizzly. Ryan might have something to say about this. Yeah, saw it coming. So I mean, not a very fancy counterspell. Like literally, it's just a cancel. I mean, there's the upside of foretelling it, but in this spot, it's just a cancel.
Yeah, and with open pools, uh,
He should have saw it
having
coming. Is that what you're saying?
no, that for if he foretold it, you'd be able to quickly pinpoint like, oh, they have one in the blue open and they have a foretold card. I guess it saw it
I
coming.
mean, you still have to run something into the counterspell though, but you can be a bit
Yep.
more selective. But interesting that Ryan was okay with the cat, but not okay with the grizzly. I guess the trample
This will
was
be
looking
Nervous Gardener.
the trample was looking like a bit too much. Nervous Gardener, one of my favorite cards from NKM, was it? Yeah, I'm trying to remember the acronym, but Karlov Manor. Yeah, such a staple in the green decks.
This duelist is soon going to be able to attack past this brawler.
Yeah, I think Adam has his eye on that duelist for to be outmuscled here, and with one green open, I mean, there is one thing that we know that costs one green in the set that counters spells effectively. And I think it may be a Snakeskin Veil, and he may just be attacking with that in his hand and saying, "Well, if you block, I can eat it."
Yeah.
The
Another
bane of
card that
everyone, basically. Snakeskin Veils.
another card that is quite good that he could have is Get a Leg Up from also
That was
from
also
MKM,
MKM, yeah.
right?
+1 for each creature you control, and
And there's quite a few
reach.
creatures. Yes, I believe it is Reach. Let me check that.
Yeah,
And gains Reach, correct.
sure.
Get a Leg Up.
That's it's definitely a defensive card you want to give reach with, but I've seen it give reach. So Adam's probably scanning the pool here if I know him to be the competitive gamer that he is. And he's saying, I'm at 10, but I need this brawler. But if he has Snakeskin Veil, the outmuscle is not going to work anyway. It's actually a very tough
Hmm.
spot here. It's put him in a bit of a bind.
Um, the Out Muscle won't work either, right? With
Yeah,
Get a Leg Up, if it is that.
correct, yes. All right, so it is that good old Snakeskin Veil. What I wouldn't give for a Snakeskin Veil in my pool.
Hmm.
Well, I know Snakeskin Veil has been important to a lot of players. Like I know, just for example, Justin, who's starting the week in the top 8, has three in his deck, and like that's been like such a huge part of just keeping his Bill or his Roxanne or whatever else he has, alive to do what they're supposed to do.
Yep.
I think on my seventh loss, I think I finally got my first take up the shield though, but still no snakeskin, sadly. So shields are down now, but so he can go ahead and kill this duelist, which will kind of actually relieve a lot of the pressure here. Because, I mean, yes, you can start activating Bill, but nothing will have a counter on it. So it'll be a bit slow to build up the counters from Bill here since they've all gone on the duelist, which is now vulnerable.
Hmm. and every land, there's no lands in that hand, right? So he's gonna have to naturally draw each land in order to
Yeah. So he says, let's
start putting
stabilize
counters
here.
slowly.
Let's do a nice little fight. Pay adamant, of course. It would make sense that Adam is adamant. That's just logical. It is in his name, and no attacks here, just based on life total being a bit low. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's pretty nasty.
Ooh,
Ooh,
look at
that is
this.
super nasty.
Standard
That is
standard
super
teamer
nasty.
analyst all star card, Riveteer's Outlook. Hits the field.
And we now have Teamer Mana in play.
And despite the Troll King being gigantic and seeming like it reaches skyward, I don't believe it has reach. They don't just, this is from an era where they didn't just put reach on everything like they do in this set.
Has a good amount of keywords though, vigilance and trample.
Sure,
It'll
and
start swinging in.
it could come back once from the graveyard if it goes away. But I mean, this take up the shield may be what Adam needs. He might just have to use it offensively to gain a bunch of life here. Because
Yeah, I
this
don't
Sphinx
mind
has
that.
him dead to rights in 2 turns. So what do you think of the strategy of Ryan of just putting all the counters on like the one thing that he can attack in with rather than spreading it across the board in case that thing dies?
I think it makes sense. Um, it's the more offensive line. It sets him up for the 2 turn clock, and of course, I think he can somewhat guess that removal isn't super forthcoming because Bristly Bill probably would have been taken care of as well at a certain point.
Yeah, I mean, well, once the duelist got
Plus
that
the
big,
ward.
he had to kill it, and thankfully he actually had something that killed it. There's not that many things that necessarily kill a 5/7 flyer.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Hollow Marauder's
But just like an extra removal
gonna
now.
dump a hand, and it's basically guaranteed to be a spell that he's getting discarded here. All right, so that was, I believe, the Echo Inspector from Capenna,
Yeah,
if I recall the art.
that's definitely that art.
That was a good one. But you know, obviously he needed to discard something. His other card was better, and this way Adam doesn't draw a card either. But yeah, this Sphinx is going to be coming in hot and heavy here, especially having Vigilance, which is like recently new to blue for some reason. Oh, he's going to pump up this. The Nervous Gardener is getting a little less nervous here, just a little more angry.
Yeah. This might have to prompt to take up the shield here.
Yeah, just use it defensively, gain a bit of life, give himself a couple more turns to find a removal for the Sphinx. Let's see how he approaches this combat. Yeah, Aloe Alchemist,
Alternatively,
such a nice card. It's like turn 2, great. Turn 10 or whatever, also still great. But
actually, I think my preferred line might be a double block and just letting it go to damage. My concern is the growth of this Marauding Sphinx, and like maybe take up the shield will be necessary to go for a trade when it's a little bit larger than either of our 7 power creatures.
he said, I need the life and I need it now. So
Mhm.
he's gonna take advantage of an open window here for him to gain some life and hopefully find a removal, but the land's not going to be it. But he can scry here for a removal with his
Yes.
Arynx and then play his big feasting Troll King. Normally, I'd be concerned to put feasting Troll King in a deck that had multiple plains, mountains, and a bucolic ranch, but Adam's made it work, so here we are. But I mean, he does have a good amount of fixing to pull it off. So yeah, he's going to go ahead and attack here. He said, I need to scry. I also need to get you dead. He sees a beaver, which isn't going to do very much, so it goes away.
Bye bye, Beaver.
It's just like another solid four drop that just still is going to see play like even in the later weeks. Like normally these like the regular old common creatures that are 3 and 4 mana are mostly phased out of a lot of decks by the end of the format, like the ones that weren't like the top tier of commons.
Mhm.
But we're still seeing people play them because just that's how good these commons are nowadays.
Absolutely. One thing that I think Adam possibly was thinking or noticing there was that counting his mana, he would have been able to activate Branch on upkeep and play the Beaver,
Mm,
so like get an extra draw out of that. I
yeah,
think he might have been thinking about that and determining in the end, maybe a bit too slow, not worth it, even though quite valuable
yeah. It's just the
doing that.
beaver is neither a threat nor an answer to the Sphinx. But the good news is Adam does have a bit of a life cushion here with the foods. So the way Troll King works is that if you cast it from your hand, I believe you get the foods. Oh
Oh,
boy, that's a good one.
wow. That is incredibly rough.
Oh, that's what
Yeah,
that's what Pest Infestation does.
that deserves an emote for sure.
I believe he surveilled what was it, a projector inspector into the graveyard? I haven't seen that one in a minute,
Mhm.
but that was a very good card too. And Adam's basically dead here.
Yeah, and so this is
I mean,
oh,
he's
that's a
he's got a
good card, but it
betrayal
doesn't
at the vault, but none of his creatures are big enough to take down the Sphinx. So despite having multiple 7 power creatures, none of them are powerful enough to fight the Sphinx.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it is kind of this scenario that I was
I mean,
thinking of when I was hoping for the double block and
does
just letting one of the creatures trade.
leaving it on top just leaves
Um,
him dead, right? He's just dead.
I think he's dead either way, is
Well,
he
he needed
not?
to find something,
Yes.
but all these 1/1s are just gonna poke through for the necessary damage. So one of the things that was underrated in that matchup because it never grew itself, but was Bill just made threats other than itself that required Adam's attention, and the last one just was a little too big and too hard to kill here.
Hmm. A wonderful support to the rest of the team.
I mean, we saw Railway Brawler in play, but it didn't. And it was in play for what, one creature to get the trigger.
Yep,
I think he
that's
moused
exactly
off
what happened.
over this run afoul, which is an opponent sacks a creature with flying. It's you know maybe scared of that Ezram or the Sphinx. Actually, it's not bad. I mean, it's
Yep.
kind of like it's like a pick your poison kind of. Is that 3 snakeskin veils in the sideboard?
Yes,
Adam,
that is three.
I'm here shaking my fist because I would give anything
An
for one.
embarrassment of riches
I would
as
give
well.
anything for just one snakeskin. This man put 3 in the sideboard. It's an outrage.
There's,
No, and colossal
there's a
dreadnought.
couple other,
No respect. I
yeah, Dreadmaw as well. Keeper of the Fable. If you have the right deck for it, it's quite
feel like he
good.
has enough card
Two
advantage.
Trash the Town as well.
I feel like his creatures are providing him the card advantage that Trash the Town and I mean, Keeper
Oh
of
yeah,
Fables is
no, I'm
still
not
good, sure, but
criticizing.
I mean, Trash the
Definitely not
Town,
commenting on Adam. Sorry, what?
yeah, Trash the
Yeah,
Town just
try.
plays so well with something like a Drover Grizzly, right? They're like, okay, block with my 2/2, and you're like, nope, take a bunch, take 4, and I draw 2 cards. Like most of the time when you attack with the Drover Grizzly, opponents get blocked with a 2/2 or a 3/2 or something. And this just trumps it so hard. So a
Yeah,
bit
a
surprised
lot
to see
of fun
that,
cards.
but he's a 2-time league winner and a many-time top eighter, so he knows his deck, he knows what he needs, and he has sided in 2 flying hate cards here. The run afoul, which is it's like a 1/3 of a pick your poison.
Yeah, I like this removal of the Trap in the Tower. There's been quite a few threats that are not going to be dealt with by Trapped in the Tower. So better to leave that at the board.
Yeah, I remember. I remember
Um,
even back in Eldraine, it wasn't very good because there was this white card, Fairy Guidemother. You could give your creature flying the adventure side, and the Trap in the Tower would just fall off. I do remember
mhm.
that. You know,
The,
those are in the days where white did not get good removal at common, and those days are thankfully pretty much done. White's always getting good
yeah.
stuff every set, this set included, and we get a nice game
The other
three
thing
here.
about Trapped, the other thing about Trapped is it doesn't have the pretty key bit of text that a lot of enchantment removal, if they're not O-ring types, that they seem to have, which is, it loses all abilities. It just says its activating abilities can't be activated, but all those triggered abilities on the Bristly Bill or the Ornery Tumblewag would be in full effect
Oh yeah,
with
the
Trapped.
Duelist of the Mind as well. Well,
Yeah,
I guess you couldn't put on that to start with. But here's a
mm-hmm.
nice rare from MKM here. Looks like his offset packs have been very nice to him here. We see Ezram and
Yeah.
Sharp-Eyed Rookie in his deck, so yeah, there's a reason why he's at 17 wins. So this card just it grows, it gives you card advantage, it has vigilance, it just does about everything you could ask for a 2 drop. Another
Ooh,
premium card here. Wow, he's like I said, I could see how he got to this point. You know, when you're opening cards of this
absolutely.
quality from your non OTJ packs, you are winning more games than you are losing.
Mm-hmm. Feels like haymakers right now. Well, somewhat haymakers on both sides. Adam's going to be building up to his, I'm sure.
Not too much for him to do right now. I mean, Ardenvale Tactician. I mean, he could tap 2 creatures, but he can't cast the Tactician yet because it's double white. The Hollow Marauders are still a couple turns away. Getaway Glamour might be played this turn to kill something. And here's a
Seems
threat.
likely.
Yeah. So we just have a high density of threatening cards here.
Not quite a rare on every turn, but pretty close to it.
I mean, Jewel Thief. Give it like 5 years back from now, and Jewel Thief would have been an uncommon. I'd say like as recent as like 5 years ago. They would not put something like that at common. But SNC was known for having some very silly common creatures. She's just going
Huh.
to do a defensive tap here, not the greatest thing to do, but better than taking damage, I suppose. So he's deciding: do I tap down or do I just kill this Jewel Thief and not have to worry about it?
Yeah. It's a tough choice for sure.
Alternatively, he could kill the Tumblewag here,
Tumblewag
but
and
it would
reset.
involve giving his opponent another treasure, which I don't know. You know, that might get something out a turn early that he doesn't want to see.
Hmm.
This could be a
I
snakeskin
think
veil,
it's
I
a
suppose. Here,
necessary evil.
I suppose this could be the much feared and reviled snakeskin veil.
Oh yeah, if this is snakeskin, it's a complete blowout.
It's we're not going to say game's going to be done, but it's going to be insanely difficult here because not only will the Tumblewag live, but the Jewel Thief will just get blinked. It will just get another treasure. It'll lose the counter, but he'll get the treasure back. Okay, this is basically Snakeskin Veil. Yeah, I remember he
Yeah.
played that against me too. He had 1 blue mana open, and I'm like, okay, go to kill his creature, and it was just a blue mana open, and it wasn't. I was like, okay, it's not Snakeskin Veil, and then it's that, which is basically Snakeskin Veil. It's like what? Stop. That's why I said
At the very
it
least,
was
you don't
very
get attacked.
frustrating to play against this deck, and that's a compliment for if anybody was wondering. That's not an insult. That is a extremely high compliment. All right, so Green Blade here can get him that second white he needs to eventually cast this Tactician, but I think the problem is already in play here, or multiple problems.
Yeah.
I mean, he cast a blue snakeskin veil. How is that fair? It's an outrage.
Feels like there's been a decent amount of those recently, right? Cyber Cryptomancer, there was that
Shore up, I think it was called.
Shore Up. I think, well, Shore Up didn't leave something permanently, right?
No, but it was pretty good.
I skipped those sets, but was it in Mid or Val? Wasn't there like a Cradle of Safety or
Yeah,
something
it
like
was.
that?
Yeah, it was called Cradle Safety. Yeah.
And then, of course, the one that I remember is the something mantle from THB.
Starlit
One I
Mantle, which
really
was the
remember is,
exact same as Cradle of
yeah,
Safety. It's the same
yeah,
card, except Cradle of Safety is cuter because it has a little baby on it.
true.
All right, so lands here for Ryan means more spells because he did miss his land a couple turns, I think, actually. Okay, Skyclave Aerialist, just another threat here. This is going to be a tough road here for Adam. I didn't see any board wipes or. I mean, he does have Betrayal at the vault that could wipe out two things. That probably is his best draw if Ryan can't interact with it. But
Yeah, and I mean, if things are still small enough by the time by the time he draws it.
yeah, because he doesn't have another desert in hand, so this Green Blade is topping out as a 3/4 for the time being. But he will be able to at least stave off a bit of damage here, unless we got another counter spell here, which would be more disaster, because it means you don't get the creature half either. Okay, so a brief reprieve, but then another rare comes down.
Ooh,
This is week 6. I mean, this is what I was expecting for week 6. Like the deck that we saw from Thomas earlier is not what I was expecting for week 6. Right, playing Quilled Chargers and Prickly Pears. He's doing it obviously to incredible success. He's not only atop the standings, but now running away with it after 3 wins to start the week. But I was expecting more of these type of games here. Value based rares, uh, just big heavy hitters.
mhm.
And we're getting it. If you came here to see OTJ bombs, we're getting offset bombs too, and OTJ bombs as well. So what even to kill here? I mean, I guess it's Tumblewag, but there's just so many problems. Maybe the Hollow Marauders can get him back some of the tempo here and turn the tide and block these flyers, but it's a tough go here. Like he's taking at least 7, potentially more. So I believe when you turn the when you transform the Merfolk there, I believe you get a it's like you call it like a coiling oracle effect. You look at the top card and either draw it or put it to play. Is that a hothouse that he milled there?
Yes, he does have a hothouse.
Oh my! All right, well, I could see, like I
Hmm.
said, I could see why he was doing well. He will need to win basically all the rest of his matches this week to make top 8. But with the way the cards are getting played out here, it's certainly doable. I would say.
Hmm. And yes, it is indeed look at the top card if it's a land, put it on the battlefield, or put it into your hand
Yeah, I could just call
when
that the
you
old.
flip the invader.
Well, the coiling oracle was the card that ETB'd and did that from the olden days.
Which set?
Oh, that was back. That was the original Ravnica, like way way
Mm,
back. It's just green blue
okay.
1/1. Enter the battlefield. Do that. So 2-drop 1/1. Look, reveal the top card, draw it, or put it in the land if it's put into play if it's a land. But
Mm,
we've seen effects since then that do that, like Risen Reef, Parcel Beast. It's an effect that shows up in blue and green
yeah,
every so often.
yeah.
It seems to be like shared, so it's only blue and Greek cards that do that. Anyway, in the meantime,
Yeah.
here we're drawing a card.
I can recall a couple other ones, right? Joint Exploration. I think there was a card, and there was a rather problematic card, right, from Ravnica Allegiance as well.
Well, I think you're thinking of
That,
Ghost Spiral, which was just like an explore variant.
yeah,
Yeah, this is more just like
yeah, Growth Spiral.
a creature that does this, that puts a land from the top. Yeah, I think that ended up getting banned in constructed. I think it was It was just a little too strong. But anyway, Ryan's weighing his options here. I mean, obviously he has the board advantage here, but this 4-2 flyer is at least stopping some attacks. So he is gonna at least take some time to figure out his options here, and he just says, "My options are I'll trade, or I'll offer what appears to be a trade, but may not end up being a trade." So does not attack with the Griff. Okay, he's just trading everything here face value, and I think Adam's kind of okay with that because he could just drop another Hollow Marauder here.
Mm-hmm. Get another land, drop another Marauder. He might be on the path to stabilizing here.
Yeah, absolutely. It was looking a bit grim there, especially with that slip out the back earlier. That was slip out the back breaking potentially. But he's possibly going to see the other side of this. But this is like kind of like what we saw in game one. Like he clawed his way back. All his creatures were like giving him 2-for-1s. So he was just clawing his way back little by little, but every creature was just giving him that little bit of advantage that ended up actually overwhelming Ryan at the end of that first game there. Like he
Yeah.
completely overwhelmed him. So he's attempting to do the same thing here. And I mean, I think Adam is happier with the way combat went last turn than Ryan was probably. Adam was like overjoyed to get those things off the board.
Mm-hmm.
And now Betrayal at the Vault, that could be pretty huge here. Okay, Shepherd of the Clouds is going to get back something into play here, so possibly one of those rares that we saw before. Or just a Grizzly, okay.
Yeah, Griff can now attack as a 3/6, which is certainly something.
Yeah, it's going to get +2/+2. Yeah, +2/+2. Yeah, Griff, what a card. It's like
Mm-hmm.
green white has been like kind of like a long considered not desirable archetype in limited. Like nobody ever wants to be the green white player because it's just like just play my creatures out, go wide. If my opponent stabilizes, I'm through. But they really found the right balance in this set with the mounts and just the advantages you get for saddling being so strong and the two green white gold uncommons just being extremely clutch. So well designed archetype, I would say, even though it ended up being the best one. I would say green white needed it. It was a long time coming at least.
Yeah, and looking backwards and looking forwards as well, MKM Green White was quite solid there as well with the all of the uh, disguise creatures that flipped for a little extra counters, and then I have high hopes for the Green White Bestow deck in Modern Horizons 3.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, it seemed like green white was always like a very low on the list of archetypes that people wanted to be in. Same with Simic. I think Simic is
Mm-hmm.
having a revival here of late as well.
Yeah,
So that is one good thing about the about these newer sets that some people malign for the play boosters and the power being pushed. But at least we're getting a bit more color balance.
yeah,
So he's saying, "Let me Betrayal at the Vault here. Opponent's tapped out. I'm going to kill the Shepherd and probably the Griff."
yeah. That makes sense to me.
And I don't think Ryan's really going to have enough trample damage here to really do in Adam.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine if he
Need to
doesn't draw
draw
anything,
something
he's
quick.
just going to just flip his creature here and get a card out of it. Yeah, such a solid card. Look at
Mm-hmm.
that, beautiful. So I think he's doing math here, and he says math not great. I guess he could trade with the he could attack with the Grizzly, I suppose. But I think this is now becoming Adam's game here to take control of. Like he weathered the storm. You know, like there was a pretty brutal turn where he had the Shepherd of the Clouds to get back Grizzly, and then we have Betrayal at the Vault, kill off two things. So he's low on life, but he's ahead on most other metrics here.
Yep. Board cards. Definitely, definitely.
So the steed is going to have a bit of a hard time attacking. Actually, it can attack as a 3/2, and he could shoot the sheriff. I'm assuming the 2/4 is not an outlaw. It's a Phyrexian of some kind.
Most likely a wizard, given what those Skyclave people get up to on Zendikar.
Yeah, could be. I know it's a Phyrexian for
Skyclave
absolute certain,
merfolk.
but it's no. The Phyrexians are not outlaws. They just they just make their own laws. They override the normal laws with their own laws. So they don't break the laws. They just make their own.
Yes, it's a merfolk scout that later got Phyrexianized,
Yeah,
is what it is.
makes sense. All right, so here comes the beaver. I mean, Adam's in really good shape here. I mean, we don't know all what Ryan could end up drawing, but he's well suited to fight against most things here.
Mhm.
I mean, for all we know, Ryan has his the Archon in hand, the one that costs double white, double blue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ezram.
Ezra. Yeah.
The major thing that I think could be one of the avenues for Ryan might be if he drew Pest Infestation
Yeah,
at this
that would
juncture.
be good.
Notably, he does have a Fell the Mighty,
Okay,
which
that
I
would.
imagine he'd be playing, given the mana situation.
I mean, that's a card I always would run. He's basically just.
And
Yeah, yeah. Ryan's just gonna say, show me what you have." And he said, "Okay, fine, I had this." But this just means that he gets to attack and make another angel. Because like next turn, Ryan can just say, "I don't think you have anything," and he could like gang block it.
making sure he gets that life.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah. So if he shoots the sheriff first, that just opens the door for Ryan to just put a bunch of creatures in front of the steed and kill it off. And this way, he gets to make another angel if he wants.
Mhm.
But now the Sphinx came down, which gave Adam fits there in the last game. But he looks a little better suited to deal with it with three flyers in play.
Mhm.
But no attacks really for Adam now.
Yeah,
He can't even
possibly
attack.
just a single attack. Hmm, that's interesting.
Surprised by that. I would imagine he would just put the +1 on the beaver.
Yeah, I thought maybe
Because
he
like he could just
would tap something else.
Ryan could just trade his worst creature here for the beaver. Might double block here, yeah.
I suppose, even though the Beaver will be trading down, right? The way he tapped is good because the benefit of the way he tapped is that he has more creatures back for blocking
Yeah.
to absorb trample damage potentially, and of course because he has the Bucolic Ranch, he can be a little bit more free with his resources. Right, trading down is not so much of a problem given the inevitability of Bucolic
Yeah, and he
Ranch
can
plus the board.
with the exception of the Feasting Troll King, I believe he can basically cast everything in his deck at this point. If he drew the Troll King, that would be amusing for the wrong reasons.
Hmm.
So I think if he wants to do an upkeep here,
Interesting.
no, he said, I'm just going to draw. Well, that shut me up. He can now cast his Troll King.
Perfect.
Interesting that he didn't ranch here. He just said, I'll just draw a card blindly, which I think I'd probably be activating the ranch there just because, you know, he needs everything he can get here. But looks like he's gonna get back attacking with the new beaver. The new beaver says, I want to attack. And this one can trade with the Sphinx.
Yeah. Or get the Grizzly off the board.
I mean, I think Adam's happy either way.
Yeah.
He just says, "Well, I have 7 creatures and you have 2. Anytime I can trade one for one, I'm in. Interesting attack here. I mean, what happens if Adam triple blocks? I mean, I guess we'll find out.
Hmm.
Yeah, this is exactly what I'd be doing. Just put every creature in front and say, show me what it is you have. Okay, so bounce the token. And if he has another piece of interaction, this would obviously be terrible for Adam. Okay, interesting. I mean, I think Adam's got. Yeah, I was about to say I don't. I mean, once that Sphinx is gone, that's his whole board. So Ryan did see that that game was not going to be won there, even at 20 life. And Adam takes the win. Ryan is eliminated, but had a very, very impressive and excellent run. So congratulations to Adam, and we'll see everybody back in a little bit for our last match of the week.